Thoughts on the readings for January 27th, Genesis 44, 45, Psalm 49, Romans 1, 2. In Genesis 44, Joseph sets up yet another test for his brothers. As they journey from the governor's house homeward, they are overtaken by a group dispatched by Joseph. They are accused of stealing the governor's silver cup. Naturally, the accusation is denied and the brothers' sacks searched. The cup is found in Benjamin's sack and they are escorted back to Joseph's home. Here he confronts them and says that because of the theft, Benjamin must become a house slave. Judah tells Joseph of the harm this will cause to Israel, his father. He also points out that he had become the guarantor for Benjamin's safe return. Judah requested that Joseph accept him as a substitute slave instead of Benjamin. Chapter 45 tells us that Joseph was so overwhelmed with emotion that he demanded everyone apart from his brothers leave him alone. Joseph then rushed from the room to weep. Once he had regained his composure, Joseph washed and came back to his brothers. He then revealed himself to them. "I am Joseph." On hearing, they were speechless. Joseph declared, verse 5, to them that despite their motives God had a purpose for him in Egypt, to save them. He then told of the remaining years during which the famine would continue, and requested that they transfer to Egypt for this time. In the land of Goshen he would provide for them. "Tell my father," he encouraged them, "of my status and wealth in Egypt." Joseph next with much emotion embraced his brother Benjamin. On hearing of the reunion of Joseph and his brothers, Pharaoh's household was delighted. Pharaoh, likewise, insisted that the family move to Egypt and be cared for throughout the famine. Transportation wagons were given to assist in the move. They were then liberally given provisions and clothing. Finally, Joseph instructed his brothers not to squabble on the journey to Canaan. Israel, Joseph's father, was reluctant to believe the report about Joseph until he saw the wagons. And then his spirit revived within him like the prodigal son. He was alive again. And Israel would travel to Egypt to see Joseph. In Psalm 49 we have, yet again, another from the sons of Korah. In it they speak of the natural weakness and finiteness of humanity. The first 4 verses are a plea for all the world to listen to the proverbs sung upon the lyre. The instruction must not be ignored. The fate of the ignorant will be to perish like those who are the subject of the psalm. The psalmist declared that the Almighty will preserve him from those who cheat him and are confident that they do not need God, because they have abundant riches and possessions. Those fools fail to understand that their substance is useless in its ability to redeem any other person, far less can they redeem themselves. They will die and leave their wealth to another. Their property ceases to be theirs once they breathe their last, but the grave will become their eternal home. No matter how great the boastful appear to be, in death they are no different to a slain sheep. Fools they were, and in death fools they stay. The time will come in the future at the resurrection when the righteous will be raised to rule. The faithful will be recognized as being wise, and at that time they will be vindicated. The psalm concludes with advice to have no fear now of the rich and powerful, for the time of their existence is short. Our Lord Jesus tells us the same message, Matthew 10 verses 26 to 33. Though the boastful and rich lived a life of luxury, when they die they leave everything behind and take nothing with them. Learn these lessons and apply your heart to wisdom while we have life and opportunity. In the book of Romans we have one of the 3 most masterful treatments as to how God saves, often called either the atonement or reconciliation, the others being Galatians and Hebrews. The first chapter introduces us to the gospel of God, i.e., the joyful message that it is the desire of the Almighty Creator to help us through our belief, or faith, to become His children and the inheritors of the kingdom. Paul's thesis is explained in verses 16 to 17, namely that the gospel is God's power to save any who believes, since the OT declared in Habakkuk 2 verse 4, "The just shall live by faith." From verse 18 of chapter 1 to the end of the second chapter, he shows that the Gentile world is both guilty and without any excuse. Our omnipotent Creator has provided indisputable evidence of His power, so that woefully ignorant sinners stand condemned by their reprobate behavior. Penned by Warwick Rosser and his team, produced by Christadelphinvideo.org.